Hey guys. So I want to take a second to talk about job relocations. It happens to a lot of people, especially nowadays in the corporate world when companies are moving all over the place and expanding and even going global, right? I used to work in the corporate world. I just left the corporate world very recently. So I understand it. And, growing up, I remember, my dad always getting job offers to move out of town. There was a time when we almost moved all the way to San Francisco. And he ended up kind of holding off on those job transfers until he kept turning them down until I graduated from high school. They didn't want me to, have to uproot me out of school, and because that's kind of a stressful thing. And I appreciate, my parents doing that for me as a kid, where I didn't have to move. But unfortunately for my little sisters, they ended up having to move, and my dad relocated twice in the period of like 2 years. So it happens to everybody. And last year we bought quite a few houses from people who were experiencing job relocation. Some of them were local here in Atlanta, but as we know, in Atlanta, moving from one side of the city to another can mean a 2 hour difference in your commute to work. So a lot of times it's better to relocate to the other side of the city. What's funny is this year we bought houses from two people who moved to Wyoming from Atlanta. Two people in the same year moving to the same state. Pretty crazy. All the way across the country, moving their entire family, and they had multiple kids. That is stressful. I have two children, and just getting the two kids ready to drive to the in-laws' house, 20 minutes away is a hassle. And, packing up for to go on vacation every year is a hassle. Having to move everyone completely across the country, that's stressful. And I can totally understand that. So last year we helped quite a few people sell their house very fast that were moving across the country. One of them came to us. I mean, they literally had, the day that they called us, they had 4 weeks from that day to be in their new place. 4 weeks to the day. That's not enough time to put your house on the market and sell it. You're going to get an agent to come out there, and they're going to come look at it, and they're going to put a sign in the yard, get it on the MLS. I mean, that's 2 days before that. I mean, maybe if you got a really good agent, they might be able to make it happen that day. But honestly, realistically, you're talking 2 days. And most agents, if they're good, you understand that there are certain days of the week. I'm a licensed agent myself, so I understand this. But there's certain days of the week where you want to list the property because it'll get the most traffic. Typically, that's like a Thursday is like generally the best day of the week to list, or sometimes a Friday, because you got a lot of people looking for the weekend and they're getting ready to, get their to-do list together for the weekend on all the houses they want to look at. So if you list it right at those points, the agents will get the alerts, and so that's the sweet spot. So if you get notice that you're moving from your job, and they tell you on like a Monday, and then you want to get that house listed as soon as possible, realistically, you're by the end of the week, right? You just lost half a week. And then let's say you have 4 weeks, that's 3.5 weeks now, right? Time's ticking. So that's why selling to an investor is a great fit for that. And that's why we bought a lot of houses last year for people relocating. Actually, what kind of spurred this is I got a phone call this morning right after I dropped my kids off at school, and had a woman who they were relocating out of state, and they wanted to sell their house, and they tried listing it and just wasn't really moving. And so they reached out to us to potentially buy the house. And, we can buy it fast. We pay cash. We're not dealing with a mortgage company. We'll work with your schedule and set up the closing date to coincide with your schedule. For example, one of the houses we bought last year, we literally set up the closing like the morning they were hitting the road. So they were able to move all their stuff out. They packed the truck up and everything. And they literally parked the moving truck. I think they had a moving company move some stuff, and then they rented a truck too for their stuff that they didn't want in the big truck, stuff that they needed to unpack quickly. And they literally parked the U-Haul truck in the parking lot of the closing attorney, came in, closed on the house, and then got there. When you close nowadays, you get the money wired to you. So, I mean, your closing funds are available to you within, an hour or two, depending on what time of day the closing is. So, I mean, they were on the road, and they already had their money for their house, and their house was sold, and all the paperwork was done. And that was a weight lifted off their shoulders so that they could get on the road and they could move, because moving's stressful enough. I mean, I've moved a few times and I hate moving. And, we've thought about selling this house that we live in now. And I don't know if I really want to sell it, because I don't want to move, because I got a lot of stuff. I've got woodworking is my hobby, and I've got a lot of really heavy equipment in my shop, and moving that stuff is a pain in the rear because it weighs a lot. Cast iron equipment that weighs hundreds and hundreds of pounds. I don't want to move that. So I feel you. So anyways, I'm rambling a little bit, but if you need to sell your house fast, if you've got a job relocation and you just want to be done with it and get on with your life, give us a call today at 770-810-5715. Or you can fill out the form here on our website, and that'll drop into our inbox, and we'll get that information almost immediately, and we'll reach out to you as soon as possible, and we'll give you a call and set up a time to come see the house, walk through it, and you'll have an offer in your hands before you know it. So if you need to sell your house fast for a job relocation, give us a call. We're your people. So we hope that helps, and job relocations are stressful, and we get it. So we're there to help you. And we hope you have a nice day, and thanks for taking the time to watch this video.